discuss something about clustered index. So initially you are going to group related records together, and then you are going to create an index on the related data file. Then we call it as clustered index, right? So generally create table generally creates an integrated structure, right? So this is how clustered main index is there. So you have some storage structure containing tables and index, right? So in the top level you have mechanism for locating the index structure. Then you have index entries and data file. And finally this is the cluster the second index, right? So initially you have an index file, then you have some index entries. So the first index entry points to the first row, the second index entry points to the second row, the ith entry points to the ith row, and the last index entry points to the last row, right? So this is how clustering secondary index is organized, right? So the primary memory is used to, you have primary memory, secondary memory, and in the primary memory the index file is stored, followed by the secondary memory also will have second level index, right? So in the primary memory the first level index will be there, in the secondary memory or in the hard disk the secondary level index will be there, and finally you have a data block in the memory where the records are actually stored, right? So whenever you go for a secondary index you'll be able to store a less volume of data in the primary memory, and you can speed up the retrieval of data, right? So this is about working with indexing in DBMS, right? So you need to know the usage of indexing. So why do we go for indexing? The major categories are sparse index and dense index. Then again you have primary index, you have secondary index, clustering index, and so on. So you need to know in detail about the different categories of indexing in database.